All right, we've got to bring some attention to this story coming out of South Florida, where a bunch of local Venezuelans just came out and said they feel utterly betrayed by the Trump administration and said that they were lied to because during the 2024 campaign, Trump and other Florida Republicans made explicit promises to protect Venezuelan migrants. And of course, you shouldn't trust Trump or Republicans when they make a promise, especially regarding migrants, but they did. They reassured voters repeatedly that TPS, the temporary protected status that allows a lifeline for migrants to live here, to work legally, and to escape dangerous regimes like the Maduro regime, they repeatedly promised that this would be safe, that they wouldn't remove it. But with the stroke of a pen, the Trump administration just betrayed an entire voting bloc and a bunch of people that trusted them. Remember, Hispanic Americans went towards Trump at historic rates during the 2024 election, and now they say that they feel beyond betrayed. Quote, Venezuelans in Florida are angry at the Trump immigration policy, and I'd like to break down exactly how we got here. All that I ask is that you drop a like and make sure you're subscribed. 75% of viewers are not subscribed to the channel, and you can fix that for free by subscribing. So before we jump into the main story, you guys have to watch this powerful clip of Representative Armando Wall slamming Texas Republicans. This happened about a year back, but he's slamming Texas Republicans because they passed a bill that allows police officers to essentially racially profile people. If somebody looks vaguely brown, they can detain them and try to deport them. And this representative just pours his heart out to his colleagues in the House. It's really worth watching this clip. Now, there's a lot of cussing, but you'll understand why. It's very heartfelt, and let's check this out.
Being attacked on a daily goddamn basis.
They can't stand
I've been
on this
sitting
bill.
there my whole goddamn time listening to y'all motherfuckers. It pisses me off.
All these
I love
cowards.
you, but this fucking hurts. The shit that happens on this goddamn
These
floor
cowards.
hurts. I can't go hang out with my... I can't drive my brother, my cousin. Okay, I can't
these
take them
cowards.
anywhere, bro. I can't go to a border. I can't go to a baptism because my community is being attacked. Y'all don't understand the shit that y'all do hurts our community. It hurts us personally, bro.
Could it just let us
It
debate
hurts
it?
us.
Just let us debate it.
It hurts us to our fucking core. And y'all don't understand that. Y'all don't live in our fucking skin. Y'all don't, man. And that's what pisses me off. I sit there. I've been a good fucking soldier to him.
That's right.
To my own fucking detriment.
That's right.
To my own detriment. And to cut off debate when all of our members are trying to have a debate, a civil debate. Nobody's gotten crazy. We're just trying to have a debate. Let the chips fall where they may. We know where the bill's going.
Yeah, we know.
Let us debate what we need to debate. Let us blow some steam.
Okay, a few things. That was incredibly well said. It was incredibly heartfelt, and it still applies today, about a year later. And the one part that I really like is at the beginning, when he looks at the other representatives and he says, I love you guys, but this really does hurt. And it just makes me think of the dynamics that must exist in certain state legislatures, because this guy comes to work every single day, and these are his coworkers. Now, you just have to remember that even if he disagrees with them, when you work with somebody day in and day out, oftentimes you'll build a connection with them. So he looks at them and he says, I love you guys, but this really does hurt. And when he did an interview after, he said he's gotten really close with a lot of the Republicans that work with him on a day-to-day basis. And you can't blame him. Those are his coworkers, but they betray him. They put politics and they put racial animus above the connection that they've made with their friend. So that one really struck home. But I'd like to move on to today's story, where Venezuelans in Florida are angry at the Trump immigration policy after he directly betrayed them. Venezuelan migrants in South Florida say they feel betrayed by the Trump administration decision to end legal protections for hundreds of thousands of people who fled dictatorships and sought refuge in the U.S. And when I was interviewing all of these MAGA supporters, they said repeatedly, we're okay with immigration, but you just have to come here legally. Well, look at that. When people do come here legally through the proper channels, Trump still ends their temporary protected status, and this will affect more than 300,000 Venezuelans. Protections for a second group of some 250,000 Venezuelans are currently extended through September, but now also seem likely to be removed. And let's watch the reactions of some of these Venezuelans in South Florida, because I think it's worth watching.
Well, there's a lot of news coming out of the White House. One item is President Trump's decision to revoke temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans. A decision met with controversy and a passionate response from the local community. NBC6's Laura Rodriguez is live from Doral with reaction this evening. Laura.
Well, some Venezuelans say they feel betrayed by the Trump administration, and they want to make it clear the majority of Venezuelans are not criminals.
I'm good people. I pay my taxes. I follow the rules.
Alvaro Duran is a TPS recipient. He's in the process of obtaining a green card because he's married to a U.S. citizen. However, his mother and siblings are now in limbo.
Go back to Venezuela is not an option.
Not an option for hundreds of thousands of people who say they may face jail time or retaliation for speaking out against the Maduro regime that remains in power. In the TPS termination notice, DHS said in Venezuela there are notable improvements in several areas such as the economy, public health, and crime that allow for these nationals to be safely returned to their home country.
Conditions have not changed, actually have getting worse.
At a press conference in Doral Monday, Venezuelan Americans denounced the Trump administration and South Florida Republicans.
More than betrayed, beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that it was not going to touch the documented people.
I didn't think the suspension of TPS was warranted at this time. Venezuela certainly is not a safer place today than it was when TPS was issued. And so I'm not in favor of everything that the Trump administration has done.
On Friday, Jimenez sent a letter to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem urging her to make sure law-abiding Venezuelans are not unjustly penalized.
We need to focus, and this administration needs to focus on putting out the fire, which is getting rid of the Maduro, the illegitimate Maduro regime.
Holy shameless. Imagine how shameless you have to be to look people in the eyes and say, we will protect you. We will make sure that your temporary protected status is not revoked. And then when you get into the White House, you just, with the stroke of a pen, ruin their lives. I mean, hearing these people say, hey, I'm so close to getting my green card, but now my mother and my siblings, they're in limbo. And he's saying from the heart, we are not criminals. The fact that people even have to clarify that not everyone who's an immigrant is a criminal means we've fallen so far. But still, this isn't just a policy change from the Trump administration. It is a profound betrayal, and we have to get used to it. The Trump administration is betraying almost every single voter bloc, whether it's people who wanted lower prices, he immediately begins threatening tariffs. Whether it's people who wanted no new wars, he immediately starts talking about invading Panama or Greenland or now Gaza. The U.S. is going to own Gaza. This isn't about a politician making promises they couldn't keep. This is about deliberately lying to voters' faces for political gain and then pulling the rug from under them once the votes were secured, which is absolutely disgusting. And think about how many times Trump has stiffed contractors, stiffed employees, or just fucked over people who were working for him. This is another prime example, but at a larger scale. And because Republicans in Florida have built a lot of their political success off the backs of immigrant communities, particularly those from countries like Cuba. There's a big Cuban population in Florida. Venezuela, Nicaragua, places where authoritarian regimes made the American promise of freedom especially appealing. And then Trump positioned himself as a champion of these communities. He'll rail against the dictators, which is funny to think about, and people believed it. Whether we want to blame them or not, people believed Trump's promises, and now Trump is removing protections from these very people. So it's not even just hypocrisy. I was going to say that Trump is hypocritical, but it's not. It is just shameless lying and the betraying of people. And just listen, there's a difference between making a promise and not being able to keep that promise because of legislative reasons. Obama, during his 2008 campaign, made a bunch of promises, but after he passed the Affordable Care Act, Republicans put him in sort of a gridlock for the next few years, and he had trouble passing stuff. That is different. When you make a promise, like politicians do, and it's hard to keep that promise, that is different than lying to people's faces, knowing damn well knowing that right when you get into office, you are going to ruin these people's lives, ruin the lives of these people's families. So I guess this betrayal serves as a broader cautionary tale about the fragility of political promises and populist rhetoric. Trump and Republicans sold, among many other things, trust. They were selling trust, and now they are breaking the trust of so many voters, and this could reverberate far beyond the immediate communities. I am hoping that Hispanics in America begin to wake up and see that, okay, maybe the Republican Party is not the party that I can put my trust in. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe. You can become a member. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.